if Trump didn't do anything illegal. The reality is that he is the one secreting all of these files, in effect protecting all of these people who may very well have done something illegal. And that's just as bad in my book, whether you are the one committing these crimes or whether you're the one protecting these people who are committing these crimes. And the reality is that Donald Trump had the ability via Pam Bondi, because as we all know, she is an appendage of him, to be able to release these files months ago. And in fact, this wouldn't have been surprising considering this administration is filled with people who staked their entire identities, who predicated their entire brands on this idea that they were going to release.
So I can't even be mad at Brian Tyler Cohen. He is a little right there. But in this clip we're going to watch, Michael Knowles is a pretty good debater. He already, Michael Knowles has the death stare on him. Something going on with the complexion. But anyway, Michael Knowles will eviscerate Brian Tyler Cohen, because I bet that Michael Knowles really will, because Michael Knowles, like I said, is a good debater. They are debating about, of course, these Epstein files that it has just, I mean, my gosh, like it's just been the same thing over and over and over again. It's like, when are we just going to get the files, guys? Like, what is going on? But Brian Tyler Cohen's going to make some points. I'm sure Michael Knowles is going to annihilate them, especially with this look. It's kind of scary. So we're going to go ahead and get right into it.
The Epstein files on day one. So it's no surprise when you staff your administration with Dan Bongino and Kash Patel and Pam Bondi and Alina Habba, all of these people who had been beating this drum about releasing these Epstein files, suddenly they hide them. So if somebody did do something illegal and you have somebody who's protecting those people, in my book, that is just as bad. And I want to clarify a point that I heard previously on this panel, this idea that if there was something bad in the Epstein files, that the Biden administration would have just released it. First of all, the Ghislaine Maxwell prosecution was going until 2022, and then her appeal was going until 2025. And in a world prior to this one, where the DOJ is completely politicized and weaponized, they're not going to release information on ongoing prosecutions. But that notwithstanding, look, I do believe that this stuff should have been released, and that falls square.
Just gonna cut in real quick on Brian and say, see, this is why with left is like, you can't fully agree with them, because they're always gonna make some backhanded comment. In a world prior to this one, where the DOJ wasn't weaponized, Biden's DOJ was weaponized to the right. Let's just say that it happens both ways, and let's just agree with that. No, you only point out when the conservatives do it. Your side does it too. It's okay. This is the part that I don't like. It's just like, be honest. But anyway, guys, please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button and the notification bell. Thank you to every eye that lands on these videos.
Early in the lap of one person, and that's Merrick Garland. And if you're looking for somebody to defend Merrick Garland and his judicious nature and his overly cautious nature, it's not going to be me. And frankly, I don't think it's going to be anyone, because this guy was focused not on achieving justice without fear or favor. This guy was focused on preventing the optics of politicization. This was as weak and meek an attorney general as I think we've ever had. So I also think that Merrick Garland should have released this stuff sooner. But look, in a previous world where the separation of church and state between the White House and the DOJ actually mattered, the same world that Republicans used to occupy when they clutched their pearls about Bill Clinton and Loretta Lynch, there wouldn't be a world where Joe Biden can mandate that Merrick Garland release these files. But we obviously don't live in that world anymore.
Okay, Michael Knowles, if I was advising Donald Trump here, I would just say, you know what, you should just get ahead of all this, order all the files to be released, unredacted, just get it all out there, because it's all going to come out now. However it happens, it's all going to come out. Yes, there's a process now where the House will vote on it. It's likely to vote in favor of releasing it. It goes to the Senate. There'll be enormous pressure on the Senate to authorize the release. And then there may be some stuff that's held back because they'll say, well, we're investigating. But ultimately, I don't think the American public are now going to be appeased until they know that every spit and cough and dotted I is out there. What do you think?
What's up, guys? If you don't know, my name is Justin and I own this YouTube channel. I'm also a YouTube strategist and I own a lot of the channels in the political space. I've worked with a lot of the top channels in the political space. And so many people ask me, how do I grow these YouTube channels so quickly? How am I so good at getting results for my clients and for myself? I've actually worked with a lot of the top channels like Russell Brand, Benny Johnson, Lauren Chin, so many of the top YouTube channels in the political space. And I always get asked these questions. How can I also grow my political YouTube channel? or just a YouTube channel in general. And I'm actually doing a free live class coming up on Tuesday, December 2nd, showing you exactly how to grow your YouTube channel and how to make enough money to leave your 9-to-5 job, because anybody can do it. And I'm going to show you exactly how you can do it Tuesday, December 2nd. So if you want the same sort of results as these YouTube channels, such as Justin is Lost, Justin Reloaded, Justin Reborn, The Progressive Way, Bring the Asteroid, Benny Johnson, Russell Brand, Chris on Culture, The Apostle, all these people, they're all either me or they've worked with me in the past. So if you want the same results as them, I'm going to show you how to do it for absolutely free on this live workshop on Tuesday, December 2nd. Make sure you sign up with the top link in the description or the link in the pinned comment. Sign up for that class. There's only 100 spots. So if you save a spot, make sure that you show up so you don't waste the spot. I'll see you guys Tuesday, December 2nd. Click the link in the pinned comment to sign up, and I'll see you there.
This is what it really comes down to, Piers. You know, there have been lots of interesting things said on this panel. I'm very curious as to what the Epstein infrastructure represented. There have been many suggestions over the years, reportedly from Alex Acosta, the former U.S. attorney who was Trump's labor nominee when he apparently suggested that Epstein belonged to intelligence, the potential connections to Israel, the connection to the UK, obviously, with Prince Andrew, whatever. You know, obviously, it's extremely interesting. I'd like to know more about it. We probably never will know much more about it, but I'm interested in it. Obviously, we want justice for the victims. Obviously, we want bad guys to be held to account. All of that is true, but it's simpler. The reason that President Trump initially in 2015 called for scrutiny into Epstein is because he doesn't have anything serious to hide. Yes, I'm sure he turns up in the files. Yes, I'm sure there's some embarrassing stuff in there, but he's got nothing serious to hide. I've got that from pretty highly placed liberal sources too, as you've mentioned as well, Piers. Then the reason he flipped on it is because he realized rightly that focusing on the Epstein files doesn't really get him anything politically. It's just kind of a distraction from the topics he wants to be talking about, which are crime in Democrat cities and immigration and the economy or whatever else. So I think it was a basic political calculation to say, if we're talking about Epstein, it doesn't really help us. Now, for that very same reason, I think the White House just miscalculated. They thought that not talking about Epstein was going to make the issue go away so they could focus on more important things. Well, actually, it just put even more focus on the Epstein files. So now Trump comes out, he says, all right, whatever, I'm going to lose this vote. The party's in rebellion. Okay, fine, release the files. But I think it's much more practical than what everyone's suggesting.
Well, the only thing I would say about your timeline, I'm not saying you're wrong, but if you go back in the last few months, certainly the first months of the year when he got elected, there was this enormous push by his people to say, we're going to release all the files. We're going to be totally transparent. They came on this show and we're giving it the full, we're going to get it all out there, blah, blah, blah. And then a weird series of events happened. Elon Musk falls out with Donald Trump and suddenly tweets out of nowhere, posts out of nowhere on his X platform. Breaking news, Trump's in the Epstein files. That's why he doesn't want to release them. Enjoy your night, Donald, something like that. And within a few days, the whole investigation was shut down. The whole idea of releasing them was shut down. And, I remember looking at all that thinking, that is very odd. What is going on here, right? What has Elon Musk seen or heard? And the fact he set off this bonfire with this one post, which he then deleted later, but he triggered a series of events at the White House that was a screeching U-turn on their previous attitude and tone towards these files. You don't have to be a conspiracy theorist, Michael, to think it's all a bit weird. Holiday season is here.
Oh my gosh! All he does is put on some freaking that's so annoying.
It is all a bit weird, of course, but I think that actually kind of proves the more basic political point, which is that releasing the Epstein files was a very good line during the campaign, and I think people cared about it. Don't forget, it was the conservatives back in 2014, 2015 who were calling attention to Epstein. That was initially considered a Democrat scandal. But then, as you see, even just from Elon's tweet, the very fact that Trump appears in the files, because he's known Epstein for a very long time, the very fact of that became a major distraction. It was politically damaging to the White House. And then you just got to think at a basic political calculation, what's the best that comes out of releasing the files? Is it a real knockdown for the Democrats? Is there really going to be justice? Some of what's in the files is actually going to be retracted. Like you saw Virginia Giuffre retract an accusation against Alan Dershowitz and come out and say that she never saw Trump do anything improper. So it's this muddy, weird, ugly event. Even the real stuff with Epstein, the potential connections to intelligence or whatever, it's just so, I don't know, murky and obscure. I don't think there's a major political win. And
because that's what it's always about. I'm sorry. I mean, you know, Michael Knowles, one thing about him is that he'll be able to take the point that he needs to make. He already knows he has to be on side, so he's going to make a lot of good points with being on side. And so if I was just on side, I would be like, yeah, he's right. I mean, it's not a major political win, and we should. I don't agree with what he's saying, but he's a very good debater, and I think that you know, that's what we just watched. And I think I'll leave it there. I'll see you guys at the next one. Bye.